So I just wanted to show the process for using the Kitbash 3D elements inside my short film. So this is the environment that we're looking at. You're going to see here I've gathered a ton of reference to start off with of different buildings, mostly looking at Pripyat near Chernobyl and Sofia, Bulgaria. So here I'm blocking out the main shapes of the most prominent structure in the film, which is this super lab, this massive tower in the middle of the world. And mostly I'm looking at interesting shapes and silhouettes that break up the main structure of a simple tower, looking for large details and then slowly moving into the smaller details. Angular shapes and round shapes, anything to create visual interest as well as contrast. I used the human mannequin to give scale, as well as I blocked out several cameras from different angles so that I could be building to the camera. I added some foliage and placed some cameras to get a sense of the scale and the way that I'd be most likely seeing it in the film. One of them is more backlit so I can see this silhouette. And a lot of the elements in the heavy metal kit worked well out of the box, and they all fit really well together. It was kind of like playing with Lego. You're just kind of grabbing stuff, shoving it in there, seeing how it looks, scaling it up, moving things around, and it was a really interesting creative process of just being able to throw stuff together. Usually creative decisions take a long time to iterate on. This took me probably about an hour to do, whereas it would have taken me months to do in a traditional workflow. And then slowly moving into the really small details, the ones that add this sense of scale to it. And instead of just using it out of the box where it could be instantly recognized, I changed a lot of the textures. Here you can see I'm rebuilding the window texture. All of the assets are using trim sheets with unwrapped UVs where you can just easily swap out a texture. So I built this one from scratch from some broken windows. And I used that to replace the more sci-fi look that they had with something a bit more traditional and a bit more real world, kind of relatable, because I didn't want anything too sci-fi. It was important to me to remain true to the aesthetic I had in my mind, and that meant not necessarily using everything out of the box and not necessarily using the textures that they provided, but looking at it critically and thinking of where I can improve it and where I can use the pre-made assets to save time, but then adjusting things to try to fit. And then I started to replace the block-out structures I had added with apartment buildings from the Future Slums kit. Setting a character and blocking out some cameras so that I can be always modeling to the camera, so that I can put the camera anywhere during the short film and I have something that looks interesting and I have something that looks consistent with the rest of the piece. My most important consideration throughout the piece was always making sure that the skyline looked interesting. And the second most important thing to me was that we could see this tower no matter where you were. So anywhere we point a camera, we could see that tower looming overhead. I adjusted some of the materials to avoid repetition and to match my reference. So obviously there's still a lot more to do, like adding trees and properly building out the roads. But I think the fact that you can just quickly build out an entire scene like that, I think it's pretty cool how flexible these assets are and how quickly I was able to come up with this in just a couple hours. Thanks for watching.